So the teams have been announced for the big showdown in Paris on Saturday night, Scotland versus Ireland. And I'm going to go through the two 23-man squads. And then I'm going to do a combined 23. Which Scottish players would make it into the Ireland squad? Any? How many? What do you reckon? Leave me your comments as ever. One thing you can do if you appreciate the videos on the channel, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, is just give the video a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. I don't know how, but it does. And I would love, of course, your subscription so you don't miss any more videos. Without further ado, let's get into this then. And the Irish team has been announced. And the first thing I want to say, and if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you will know how much I love the war god, Peter O'Mahony. 100 test caps is an incredible feat. And I'm hopefully, if I can work out how to do it, I'm going to put a little link to a video somewhere that I did about the war god and about why he is so special. Because he's not the quickest, he's not the strongest, he's not the most skillful, but he is one of the best and most effective back row players in world rugby still. I'm delighted for him that he's reached 100 caps. Have a look at the video that I've made on him. I made it back here, well, about a fair few months ago now, on why he is so special. I hope you enjoy that if you're a big fan of Peter O'Mahony. And, well, that's just one story in the Ireland team sheet. He will be leading the side out onto the turf. Hopefully the perfectly manicured Peter O'Mahony level turf at the Stade de France. Dan Sheehan and Roland Kelleher swap places on the bench and in the starting 15 respectively. And James Ryan and Ian Henderson swap places as well. Now, what's going on there? I haven't really seen anything come out of the Irish camp, but I know James Ryan took a slight knock in that South Africa game. Has he had a little bit of limitation on his training over the last couple of weeks? Or is that in respect to the fact that Ian Henderson came on and did a really good job against South Africa? I don't know which, but spoilt for choice. Jack Conan on the bench. Great to see him make his World Cup bow. And Big Stu on the bench as well. Stuart McCloskey. Again, Robbie Henshaw has got a knock. I don't know the severity of that knock at this point in time, but I'm really pleased for Big Stuart McCloskey. Possibly exposed at outside centre if something happens to Gary Ringrose. Also on the wing, although I guess Gary Ringrose could be Gary Wingrose once again if needed. He can slot across to the wing. But yeah, if something were to happen to Gary Ringrose, Ireland look like they could be in a bit of a pickle. Or would Bundy Aki just slot across to 13? Well, particularly if there's something that's happened to Robbie Henshaw as well, and something happened to Gary Ringrose, suddenly Ireland are looking a bit weak in that area. Other than that, I think my overwhelming thought when I look at that Irish team is the bench looks serious. 4 British and Irish Lions on it. And a lot of people have been talking about hopefully Scotland can get to the hour mark, still be in the game, and then maybe they could sneak it. The one thing I've really enjoyed about watching Ireland is they tend to build their performances and take it away from teams in the last quarter. Very fit team and a good depth and a good understanding of what the role is of those guys coming off the bench. So that bench is impressive. The whole Irish team is. As for Scotland, well, the big decisions they had were on the wings. Do you roll the dice with Darcy Graham, or would you go maybe a slightly safer, preempting the aerial attack that Ireland might bring with Kyle Steyn? They've gone for Darcy Graham. They've gone for it. I'm delighted about that. I think that possibly shows a mentality with Scotland that's gung-ho would be over the top, but willing to roll the dice, not leave any question marks out on the turf. And I think that is the way. 6-2 split is quite interesting. They've got King Blairhorn. Blair Kinghorn, the most Scottish name ever. He can cover fly half, of course. Ollie Smith's quite a versatile player to have in the backs. So they've got a bit of energy there. Although, if you'd have said to me after the Romania game, what are the chances that Scotland would select 14 forwards and not one of them would be Hamish Watson? I'm slightly surprised not to see Hamish in the side. Jamie Ritchie and Rory Darge on the flanks. I mean, that's not to take anything away from Luke Crosby and Matt Fagerson. They're both really, really good players. And they're clearly anticipating wanting to try and bring some real energy off the bench in that second half. And yeah, Hamish Watson will be absolutely gutted. Scrum half as well. Ben White injured? I don't know. I'm assuming he's had a knock. Regardless, personally, if I'd have had the choice, as I said on a previous video, I would have gone with George Horne. I just think he's a bit of a live wire, and his service is fantastic as well. But Ali Price, hey, wasn't so long ago he was tearing it up with the British and Irish Lions, so hopefully he can recover some of that kind of form. Scotland have always got a chance, haven't they? And you look down that list of names and they've got some talent. One thing that's worth picking up on is the fact that Scotland gave Ireland quite a tough time in the scrum, I seem to remember, during the Six Nations. Now, Ireland have got recent memory of coming through reasonably well in that area against South Africa, except for when the bomb squad came on. Let's also be clear about that. So maybe that's one area Scotland might feel like they've got potentially an edge in the first half. We will see. As for a combined team then, so I've taken all 46 players, sorry, quick maths, and squeezed them into one 23-man squad. And, that is what I went with. So with this, I've simply taken every player and put them head to head. So number 1 v number 1, number 2 v number 2, and so on. And Richie Gray's the only Scottish player I put in the pack over his Irish counterpart. And in the back line, Duhan van der Merwe on one wing with James Lowe. And I could have put Johnny Sexton at fly half. In fact, I'm looking at that thinking maybe I should have put Johnny Sexton at fly half. He's been brilliant in this World Cup. But I've just gone with Finn Russell. I don't know. They're both outstanding, and they are both the key to this game, aren't they, for their respective teams. And then the bench, Ireland dominate that one as well. So I think my gut feeling coming into this was the balance of power is very much with Ireland. Maybe it's even more so with Ireland than I thought. From a neutral's point of view, I hope that it's kept interesting for most of the game. I actually have a feeling Ireland might make this less of a spectacle than we're hoping for quite early in the game. But we will see. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.